Good morning and welcome back to another video. It's about 4:40 in the morning, it's cold and it's raining. It's not really the best time to be up, but up I am. And I'm heading to the station. The reason that I'm up and about at such an ungodly hour is because today I'm heading to two stations in Shikoku. One of the stations is Tokushima station, and the other one is a station called Gaku. So let me just quickly explain Gaku. Gaku, the station name, is written with a kanji, so a Japanese character, meaning study or learning, something like that. So, any ideas why I'm going to Gaku? Any ideas why I'm going to Tokushima? Well, if you want to find out, please stay tuned, you're in the right place. Anyway, let's get to Saijo station. If I miss this first train, my whole day is completely ruined. Alright, so this is Saijo station and quite possibly the world's slowest escalator. The ticket machines start working at 5 o'clock exactly. Anyway, I got my tickets, all 7 of them, no problem. This is the first one. This covers the journey until Gaku. And here's the first train of the day, literally the first train of the day, and the first train of my journey. It's the local train to Hiroshima. And this is the second train of the day for me. It's the first Nozomi Shinkansen service of the day, and I'm taking it as far as Okayama. And just 40 minutes after leaving Hiroshima, here I am in Okayama. It looks like it's going to be a nice day. Now, all I need to do is get to the platforms for the non-Shinkansen trains. This is my platform, but unfortunately, it's not my train, which is a shame really. It's pretty cool. This is my train. I'll be taking this train as far as Awa Ikeda. Alright, so that's us leaving Okayama. It's about 1 hour and 20 minutes on this train to Awa Ikeda. And during the journey we will cross the Seto Ohashi, the series of bridges that link Shikoku and the mainland. First of all though, we need to head south from Okayama to the bridge itself. It's about 20 minutes from Okayama to the first of the several bridges that make up the Seto Ohashi. We're just leaving Kojima now. This is the last major station before the Seto Ohashi bridges. The Seto Ohashi is really the main link between the mainland and Shikoku. And so there are not just passenger trains, there are freight trains as well. Like this one here, in fact. And here we are on the first of the Seto Ohashi bridges. There are a total of 10 bridges spanning the 12 or so kilometers between the mainland and Shikoku. Personally, I would be completely happy to say that this is one of the great train journeys in the world. The view from the carriage window out over the inland sea is just breathtakingly beautiful. Sunset and, as here, sunrise are, I would say, particularly beautiful. But in the end, this journey is worth doing at any time of the day. By the way, these bridges are built to a large enough scale that if ever it was decided to build a Shinkansen route to the island of Shikoku, the bridges could accommodate that. Impressive forward planning, but I think really it's difficult to imagine that there will ever be a Shinkansen built to Shikoku. With only a 4-minute connection at Awa Ikeda station, I didn't really have time to film anything there. I'm on the Tokushima line now, heading towards Tokushima, obviously. I'm not going all the way to Tokushima yet, though. Gaku station is on this line, and I'm going to get off there. First, though, I need to get off at Anabuki and change from this express to a slower train. I rather like the scenery along this line. It's nicely rural. As you can see, the line itself is not electrified. I think we're getting quite close to Anabuki now. As I say, this is where I need to get off this express train and transfer to a local train. I think I have about 30 minutes in Anabuki. And here we are in Anabuki. Let's go and see what we can find. As I say, I only have about 30 minutes, but that should be enough. So I've come to this bridge to take a look at the Yoshino River, which is one of the great rivers of Shikoku. It's very windy and it's very cold, but it looks like a very beautiful place. It would be nice to come here in summer, maybe when it's a little bit warmer. It's too cold and too windy to stand on that bridge for too long, so I'm going to head back to the railway station. Hopefully it'll be a little bit warmer there. So this is Anabuki station. It's actually quite a nice station, and there's a small tourist information center just here, although there's nobody actually in the tourist information center to help with any inquiries. It looks very much like they're building a new station platform at Anabuki. I haven't been able to find any information online about whether this is an additional platform or a replacement platform. I'd like to think it is an additional platform, but somehow something tells me that that is not really that realistic a possibility. If anyone knows, please do leave a comment. This is a terminating service from Tokushima. If I'm correct, this is going to be my train back towards Tokushima. Maybe it's just the time of the morning, but it's not a very busy service. Anyway, we are finally coming up to Gaku. So I'm at the front of the train ready to get off. Alright, so exactly 4 hours after leaving Hiroshima, I'm at Gaku. I said at the beginning of this video that there was a reason that I wanted to come to Gaku station. So, do you have any idea what it is? Well, let me tell you. So, at the beginning of January, there are university entrance exams, in Japanese called Kyotsu Testo. And I know a few high school students who are taking these exams. Well, you might ask, what does that have to do with a rural station in Tokushima? Well, let me explain, or let me try to explain. This is something that really only makes sense in Japanese, but I'll try my best. As I said before, the kanji, the Japanese character for this station, this kanji, Gaku, means learning or study. That's point one. Connected to this, entering a school or a university is called Nyugaku. Well, the next part to all this is that a platform ticket in Japanese, so in other words, a ticket to get onto a station but not to actually take a train, is called Nyujoken. From that, you can sort of mix the two words together so that Nyugaku means entering a school, but also entering Gaku station with a platform ticket. Anyway, what you can do is buy 5 platform tickets, and 5 in Japanese is go. So that then becomes go nyugaku, which is a formal way of saying entering school or entering university. So in actual fact, what you can buy are sets of 5 platform tickets for Gaku station, which are called go nyugaku. And they are sort of good luck charms, maybe, for exams. So I thought it would be a nice thing to come and buy those go nyugaku good luck charms for the soon-to-be university students that I know. Now, you can't actually buy the tickets at Gaku station anymore because there are no staff. It's a very small, very rural station. You can buy them at Tokushima or Takamatsu. So I'm going to buy them at Tokushima later. But at Gaku station, there is a photograph of what they look like. So I will show you that right now. So they actually come in a sort of silk-like amulet. It's quite nice, really. So that was my reason for coming all this way to Gaku today. I have to say, it's quite a nice station, really. It's a very peaceful place too. There was some noise from someone cutting grass or something earlier, but even that's gone now. It's very quiet and it's a very relaxing place to sit and wait for a train. Speaking of trains, here is one. This is a train back to Anabuki. My train onto Tokushima is due in just a few minutes, so it's almost time to say goodbye to Gaku. It's been nice to visit, finally. I've bought these special good luck tickets for several years now, when I've known people who've been taking university entrance exams, but this is the first time that I've actually visited. Anyway, I said right at the beginning of this video that I also had a reason for going to Tokushima, but I will explain that when we get to Tokushima itself. Anyway, see you in Tokushima. Okay, so this is Tokushima Station. I always liked this station because there are lots of trains stabled right by the station. For a train spotter, it's almost paradise. especially because a lot of the trains are older trains that you don't tend to see outside Shikoku, this island. But I'm not here to see the trains today. Well, I am a bit, but that's not the main reason that I've come to Tokushima. The actual reason I've come all the way to Tokushima today is to eat Tokushima ramen. Tokushima ramen is one of my favorite styles of ramen. I eat it quite often in Okayama, but I thought it would be good to come to Tokushima and eat it here. The ramen shop I always go to in Okayama is called Men-O. So it basically means noodle king. Well, given that it's Tokushima ramen, the main shop is here in Tokushima. And as far as the map shows, it's about a 2-minute walk from the railway station. So it should be fairly easy to find. I'm looking forward to some ramen. All right, that was the ramen eaten and the platform tickets purchased. The ramen was as good as I thought it would be. I mean, it's good anyway, but it was just nice to eat it here in Tokushima. It didn't disappoint. I can certainly recommend Men-O if you're on the lookout for Tokushima ramen. I'll show you the platform tickets when I'm on the train back to Takamatsu. I got 20 tickets, so 4 lots of 5, and the little amulets I was talking about, they actually had 4 colors. Perfect. I got 1 of each. So I'll show you those on the train. Before I head back though, I do have a little bit of time for train spotting. Tokushima is famous for a traditional dance called awa odori. It's nice to see that the melody announcing an approaching train is that music. I also like the decorations on each of the staircases in the station. Does that mean giving up on life or something? No, what it actually means, and I only know this because I've read the Japanese, is please put your bags on the floor so that there's space for other passengers. Okay, this is my train back to Takamatsu. I booked a reserved seat, but at the minute it doesn't look like anybody else has. Anyway, let me show you the Gaku station amulet things. So, first of all, they come in a nice paper bag. The amulets come in purple, pink, red, or light blue. The writing says Gaku station platform tickets. And there are the 5 platform tickets. You can actually put them inside the amulet. Anyway, time to head back to Takamatsu. This is the train crossing the mouth of the Yoshino River, which we saw back in Anabuki earlier this morning. It's really, really wide by this point. Okay, so this is Takamatsu station. From here, it would be very easy to get back to Okayama by the Marine Liner Rapid Express. I could be back in Okayama in just over an hour, and then back in Saijo about 2.5 hours after that. So pretty easy. Too easy, in fact. I'm not going back by train. I'm going to go back by ferry for a change. There used to be direct ferries from Takamatsu to Uno, from where it's only a relatively short train journey to Okayama. However, these services were discontinued, and so now there are only ferries from Takamatsu to Naoshima, which is famous as an art island, and then another ferry from Naoshima to Uno. So in order to get back, I'm going to need to take 2 ferries. So anyway, let's head to the ferry port. It's only a couple of minutes, maybe 5 minutes, walk from the railway station. All right, let's go. Alright, so this is Takamatsu Port. I have to say it looks quite cold out on the sea today, but I'm going to stay outside on the ferry for as long as I can. This is, in a way, too good an opportunity to miss. I have some gloves, I have a scarf, I have a hat, I should be okay, hopefully. Famous last words. Anyway, before anything, I need to find a ticket. So let me go and see if I can find the ticket office. Alright, this is the ferry to Naoshima. As you can see, it's brightened up quite a lot. Certainly much more than I thought it would. I might be able to stay out for the whole journey, actually. Certainly at the minute, it doesn't feel that cold now. We'll see. I have to say, nobody else is coming outside, though. Well, that doesn't mean I can't stay outside. It's a little bit difficult to see, but just there is a breakwater. And at the very end of the breakwater, there is a lighthouse made of red glass. It's quite famous in Takamatsu, in fact. Normally I would have taken a walk out along the breakwater to there, but today I didn't. And the simple reason is that I'm going to go right past it on the ferry about 5 minutes after we leave the port. So I will at least stay outside until then. After that, we'll see. I said it would be an hour by train if I took a train back to Okayama. Well, by ferry, it's going to be 2.5 hours. Roughly, anyway. It's about an hour as far as Naoshima, and then there's about a 30-minute connection, and then it's another hour or so as far as Uno, from which, as I said earlier, I can get a train. So I'm losing a lot of time, but hopefully it'll be quite a good view from the ferry. Alright, so we've just left port. So it's goodbye Takamatsu and goodbye Shikoku for this time. I have to say, I really do like Takamatsu. It's a small town, but it's a very nice town, and there are lots of things to see, both in the city itself and nearby. One really nice place to visit is the island you can just see now with the ferry in front of it. The island is called Megijima, but it's better known as Onigashima, or in English, Demon's Island. In the Okayama area, there is a legend that tells of Momotaro, or Peach Boy. The story is of a boy who was born from a peach, hence the name, who, when he grew up, fought and defeated the demons that were terrorizing the area. Well, I believe it anyway. Whether you believe the legend or not, the island is a great place to visit, and just next to it is Ogijima, which is another wonderful place to spend an afternoon. We're just getting close to the red glass lighthouse now. To be honest, with the wind today, I think the breakwater may well be closed. There certainly doesn't seem to be anybody out by the lighthouse. Leaving Takamatsu is always a wonderful view, but today it's just too cold to stay outside for too long. So I'm going to admit defeat and head inside. I don't think I've ever taken this ship before. It's really nice though. Call me a glutton for punishment, but I'm heading back outside. The views are too good to miss, really. Alright, back inside for a bit of a break. It's a heck of a lot calmer inside. We're just approaching Naoshima. That's Miyanoura port in the background there. We should be docked in about 5 minutes or so. Right on time, actually. The journey has been really quite beautiful. I've really enjoyed it despite the wind and the cold. Well, that was strange. I got to Miyanoura port in Naoshima and I thought there was about a 30-minute connection. It turned out there was a 10-minute connection, which in a way is good, but I sort of fancied a little bit of time in Naoshima. By the ferry port there is a big pumpkin. That's not quite as stupid as it sounds. It's a piece of art by Yayoi Kusama Yayoi, who's famous for her polka dot designs. There are actually two pumpkins on Naoshima, but one of them is right on the far side of the island. So I'd hoped to take a walk to the red one, which is by the ferry port, but given a choice between waiting for 10 minutes or waiting for an hour and 10 minutes, I'm going for the 10 minutes. So I'm back on the exact same ferry that I came from Takamatsu on. I'm not sure how I managed to make a mistake like that with the ferry timetable, but I obviously did. I can at least see the pumpkin from the ferry itself. I suppose that's something. Anyway, one thing that is absolutely certain is that this ferry is going to be better for sunset pictures and video. I timed this whole journey so that I would be on the ferries as the sunset. And I think leaving here at 4:35, as I am doing, will be completely perfect. So I'm hoping I'll get something really quite special in terms of sunset and the view over the inland sea as the sun sets. I really don't know what on earth I was doing with the ferry timetables, because apparently the ferry from Naoshima to Uno only takes 20 minutes, not the hour that I thought and I said earlier. I have really no idea how I managed to make that mistake. I've been to Naoshima several times, and to be honest, I thought it was shorter than 1 hour, but I trusted the numbers I saw on the internet. It was the ferry company's website, so it should have been correct, but obviously I must have read it wrongly. Anyway, I'll be in Uno in 20 minutes or so. You know, thinking about it, it does seem a little bit strange that the ferry goes to Naoshima and then terminates, but then forms a service to Uno, basically straight away. But you can't buy a ticket directly from Takamatsu to Uno. You have to get off at Naoshima, go into the ticket office there and buy a ticket and then get back on the ferry. It seems a particularly ill thought out way of doing things. I don't know why they can't just sell direct tickets from Takamatsu to Uno like they used to, and for that matter have direct services. Now fair enough, calling in at Naoshima is not necessarily a bad idea. I mean, the island is really, really popular with tourists these days, so in a way it makes sense. But I think they could have direct tickets. I don't think that would kill them to do that. It's a bit difficult to see on this camera, but that white dot in the sky is actually the moon, and it's almost a full moon. Not quite, but almost. And the moon and the dusk over the inland sea is just an incredible sight. It really is wonderful. Alright, so I'm back at Uno, and an hour earlier than I expected. I really don't know what happened with that timetable. I'm not complaining, but I don't know what happened. Anyway, that's the ferry, by the way. Given that I'm an hour earlier than I thought I would be, I'm just going to go and take a look at something before I get on the train. This is what I wanted to just come and see. It's called Uno no Chinu. A chinu is a type of fish. I'm not sure what it is in English. But this is Uno's chinu. Anyway, obviously, it's a piece of art shaped like a fish. But what is special about it is that it's made up entirely of rubbish. Every single piece of this art installation is rubbish that's been found in the sea. It's rather impressive, really. Not the amount of rubbish, that's rather scary, but the art itself is quite impressive. Let's take a look around the other side anyway. I think it says a lot about just how much rubbish ends up in the sea. I mean, I can see toys, I can see tools, I can see bottles, I can see safety helmets, even watering cans. It really is just amazing, but not amazing in a good way. It's really quite scary to think how much rubbish ends up in the sea. Apparently this piece of art, as I say, it's called Uno no Chinu, was a monument to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the opening of Uno Port. I think it's a really good monument, actually. There's also a second Chinu. I'm guessing you could call it son of Chinu, maybe. This is a smaller one, and its tail is made up completely of discarded umbrellas. This one is also a slide. Alright, it's starting to get dark, so I think it's time to head to the station. That's the ferry I just arrived on, off again back to Naoshima or Takamatsu, or both, who's to say really. I'm pretty sure that's quite a new ferry actually. Inside was very smart. It's good to see that there are enough passengers that ferry companies feel able to invest in new ferries. That's a very encouraging sign. All right, to the station, I think. And this is Uno Station. Several stations on the Uno Port line were decorated a few years back as part of an art project, I think. I think all of the designs involve lines in some way. Okay, this is Uno Station. It's getting close to dark now, and the rest of the journey is basically this train to Okayama, and then the slow train all the way back to Saijo. So I think this is probably a good time to finish this video. Anyway, what did you think of today's video? Please do leave a comment or a like if you did indeed like the video. It was a long journey. It took in quite a good part of Shikoku, and then obviously I came back to Uno by ferry. But I really enjoyed today's journey. The one thing I can say for absolute certain is that if you are looking for ramen in Tokushima, Mail-O is the place to go. The ramen is really quite special. The second thing I can say is that if you are in Takamatsu and you're looking for an alternative to the train between Takamatsu and Okayama, then the ferry to Naoshima and then to Uno and then the train back to Okayama is a very viable and quite beautiful option. If you're in Takamatsu or Shikoku and you're looking for an alternative to the train, then I can certainly recommend the Naoshima Uno ferry route. I'm normally very much an advocate for train travel, but when it comes to the inland sea, I sort of make an exception. I think some of the views from the ferries across the inland sea are really quite spectacular. So please do consider it if you're ever in this area. Anyway, thank you as ever for watching. As I say, I do hope you enjoyed this journey, and I hope to see you again in another video very soon. For now though, goodbye.